Ever felt persuaded into something and later realized it wasn't entirely your choice? Maybe you agreed to a favor that didn't sit right or bought something you didn't really need, only to wonder later, why did I say yes to that? That little voice of doubt? It could be a sign that manipulation was at play. This isn't a guide to help you control people or play mind games, quite the opposite. The goal here is to pull back the curtain on how manipulation works so you can recognize it when it's used on you and protect yourself. Let's get started. What is manipulation? Manipulation is when someone tries to influence your thoughts, decisions, or actions, but does it sneakily or deceptively. Unlike open persuasion, which is honest and upfront, manipulation is all about control through subtlety. The goal? To get you to do something that benefits them, often at your expense. Now, not all influence is bad. Think of a coach encouraging you to push harder or a friend convincing you to take a chance on a great opportunity. That's persuasion, built on trust, logic, and mutual benefit. Manipulation, on the other hand, hides its real motives. It often plays on your emotions: guilt, fear, obligation, or even love. While persuasion typically appeals to logic and reason, manipulation goes for your feelings. It taps into psychological shortcuts we all rely on, like wanting to please others, fearing rejection, or following social norms. These mental habits are known as cognitive biases, and manipulators know how to use them. Add to that social pressure, power imbalances, or a well-timed compliment, and suddenly you're saying yes to things you never actually agreed to in your head. To understand how manipulation works, you first need to understand why it works. At its core, manipulation taps into some very human vulnerabilities, things we all experience. Fear, guilt, the need to feel accepted, or the pressure to return a favor are normal emotions. But in the wrong hands, they become tools for control. Manipulators often exploit our natural desire to belong or avoid conflict. You might say yes to something just to keep the peace, avoid judgment, or not seem rude. It feels easier at the moment, even if it costs you later. Emotional manipulation techniques like guilt tripping or gaslighting mess with your sense of reality and self-worth. They can wear you down over time, making you question your own judgment. In short, manipulators don't need to overpower you. They just need to understand how your mind works. And unfortunately, many of them do. Manipulation doesn't always come with red flags and dramatic music. Often it shows up as a harmless comment, a generous gesture with strings attached, or an argument that leaves you questioning your own memory. Let's break down some of the most common manipulation tactics, so you'll recognize them the next time they try to sneak past your radar. 1. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone makes you question your reality. It could be as subtle as "that never happened" or "you're imagining things." Over time, it chips away at your confidence and sense of truth. Example: you bring up something hurtful your partner said and they respond, "You're being too sensitive. I never said that." Now you're second-guessing yourself instead of standing your ground. 2. Love bombing. This one starts out like a fairy tale. Intense compliments, constant attention, and grand gestures. But the goal isn't love, it's control. Example: on date 3, they're already talking about moving in together, texting 24/7, and calling you the one. It feels exciting until you try to set a boundary and they suddenly withdraw affection to punish you. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is emotional blackmail. It's when someone makes you feel bad for not meeting their expectations, even when those expectations are unreasonable. Example: your friend says, "Wow, I guess helping me move wasn't worth your time, even after everything I've done for you. You weren't available, but now you feel like a bad person." The foot in the door technique. This tactic starts small, with a tiny request that's easy to agree to, followed by a bigger ask once you're already committed. Example: your coworker asks for a quick favor. "Can you help me print these out?" Next week, it's "Can you handle my client calls while I'm out?" You keep saying yes because you already agreed once, and now it feels awkward to say no. 5. The scarcity principle. This one uses urgency to rush your decision-making. Limited time, limited spots, limited access. Scarcity creates pressure. Example: this offer is only available today. You'll regret missing it. Whether it's a pushy salesperson or a manipulative friend threatening to move on without you, the goal is to make you act fast before thinking it through. 6. Silent treatment, withholding. This is emotional punishment by absence. The manipulator withdraws affection, communication, or attention to make you feel anxious and off balance. Example: You have a disagreement and suddenly they go cold. No texts, no calls. They know you'll come running, apologizing for something you didn't do just to end the silence. 7. Triangulation. Triangulation involves using a third person to control the narrative or create competition. It can make you feel insecure or like you have to win their attention. Example, well, Sarah never complains when I talk to her this way. Now, you're not just defending yourself, you're also being compared to someone else who allegedly handles things better. 8. Projection. Projection flips the script. The manipulator accuses you of what they're actually doing. It keeps you on the defensive. Example, they accuse you of being secretive when they're the ones hiding texts, or they call you selfish right after ignoring your needs. Suddenly, you're too busy proving you're not the bad guy to realize you're being played. How to recognize you're being manipulated. Start by paying attention to how you feel around the person. Do you often feel confused, anxious, or like you're walking on eggshells? Do you feel guilty even when you haven't done anything wrong? If you constantly second-guess yourself or rely on someone else to keep the peace, that's a red flag. Emotional discomfort is often the first signal that something's not right. Then, look at patterns in the relationship. Are you always the one apologizing even when you're not sure what you did wrong? Are the rules constantly changing? What was okay yesterday suddenly isn't today. That's called shifting the goalposts, and it keeps you off balance. Another sign? One-sided compromises. You're bending, adjusting, giving in, but it never goes the other way. Over time, you may start to feel like your needs don't matter at all. There are also social red flags. Manipulators often use isolation to gain more control, subtly encouraging you to pull away from friends or family. Or they'll use triangulation, dragging other people into your conflicts to make you feel ganged up on or inferior. In many cases, there's also a clear power imbalance. They make the decisions, set the tone, and control when or if things get resolved. The bottom line? If you feel drained, silenced, or unsure of who you are around someone, it's worth looking closer. How to protect yourself or respond. Once you recognize manipulation, the next step is protecting yourself without getting pulled deeper into the game. The good news? You don't have to fight fire with fire. Just getting clear and calm is often enough to shift the power dynamic. Start with awareness. Journaling your thoughts after interactions can help you spot patterns you might miss in the moment. Even better, talk to someone outside the situation, a friend, therapist, or mentor. Fresh perspectives can help confirm what your gut already suspects. Next, practice setting boundaries. You don't have to explain, defend, or apologize for them. Try calm, assertive phrases like, "I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't work for me. Let's talk later. I need time to think." Speaking of time, one great defense is delaying decisions. Manipulators often create urgency. Slowing things down gives you space to think. Saying something like, "Let me get back to you," buys you clarity and cuts off their ability to pressure you at the moment. There's also the gray rock technique, a go-to if you can't avoid the manipulator entirely, like a coworker or family member. The idea is to become boring. Neutral tone, short answers, no emotional reactions. If they don't get a rise out of you, they're less likely to keep pushing. In more serious situations, especially emotionally abusive or toxic relationships, walking away might be the healthiest choice. That could mean ending a friendship, leaving a job, or cutting contact with someone who constantly crosses your boundaries. And that's not weakness, it's strength. Knowledge really is power. The more you understand how manipulation works, the harder it becomes for anyone to use it against you. Manipulation thrives in the shadows. It counts on you not noticing, not questioning, and not trusting your gut. Now you know better. The next time you feel that tightness in your chest, that confusion mid-conversation, or that nagging sense of guilt that doesn't feel quite earned, pause. Step back. Ask yourself, whose voice is this really? You don't need to be aggressive to protect yourself. Just be aware, clear, and confident in your boundaries. If you enjoy videos like this, like, subscribe, and watch this one.